Hi, my name is Seneca. Welcome to this casual YouTube channel. This is where I talk anything casual or monumental related to life and whatever whatever happens in life, aka like life's events or life's TV shows. And today it just happens to be the ultimatum, episodes 5 through 8. This is going to be my recap. This is a casual channel, so I just sit and I talk about TV shows. Like, I'm obviously not a professional recap. Like, I'm not anybody. I'm just a casual girl sitting on her couch or writing down notes so I can share them on my channel. So I just want to get straight into these episodes because there's a lot to cover. But I do just want to say this is like the worst season yet. Marry or Move On season 1 was so good and so pure. I think they're not going to be able to recreate the best season ever because it was the very beginning. You know what I mean? It was like perfect. And then also, like, these cast members just suck. I don't like any of them. I guess I kind of like Trey, and Ryan is like nice, but I'm not invested in anybody in the way that I'm like, oh my god, I hope that they get everything they want. I just feel like all of these couples chose wrong. Like, their original pairings were off, and so were their trial marriage partners, because it's all weird. Anyway, I'm gonna be discussing, for the most part, the standout moments, although some of it sometimes does turn into like me summarizing. I try not to summarize shows because I'm assuming you, like me, watched the show and know all of the events that happened, so I don't feel the need to like recount every single thing that went on. I just want to share an opinion because I personally listen to other channels recap and see what like they thought about other people. So this is my opinion on what has happened. Okay, so if you want to also watch my other episodes, my other YouTube videos on the ultimatum, I have recapped 1 to 2, 2 to 4, and now I'm 5 to 8. Anyway, so we start off with Alex meeting Roxanne's parents, which was just very evident that, like, not very evident. Nothing was evident. I was gonna say in reverse of like Roxanne or Alex's parents meeting Roxanne. Like, that was evident that Roxanne didn't like her boyfriend, but Alex meeting Roxanne's parent was like weird. It wasn't incredibly like stand out weird until Roxanne brought it up later. Like, I knew it was like kind of odd because it's like, you guys are talking like, so what do you really want out of marriage? Like, what do you know? It's like the moments where they meet the parents is where I'm like, this is a messed up show. Like, you're really including parents in this, like making them feel like they need to participate in this nonsense. That's wild. It's just all strange. There's really nothing to note except for the fact that Alex lied about like being a gentleman and like opening doors and pulling out a chair, and he says, well, I think I do. To be honest, whenever I saw him say that, I feel like that he doesn't do that, but he just did that, like, said out of self-preservation no, and just was like, I think I do, because he didn't want to be like straight up like, I don't like that, I fall short. He should have been honest, but at the same time, like, that's like it's crappy to be honest about that. But I mean, also at the same time, that's not your girlfriend. Like, you're not going to end up together. They're not going to end up together. Now we know, but yeah, I just felt like he said that to save himself from embarrassment. But like, it just is weird to even, I don't know, do that. But I feel like Roxanne was kind of blowing it a little bit out of proportion when she did mention it. She was like, by the way, Kat, he lies about things like being a gentleman. Like, I can see why somebody would lie about that. Not excusing it, just like, that's a natural lie that would come out of anybody's mouth, I feel like. So Trey meets Ryan's family. They like him. I think anybody would like anybody other than James, because it's like, you guys have been together for 7 years. I feel like James doesn't know that he has somebody who's so incredibly out of his league, who seems kind, and who seems like, I was gonna say the full package, a package. I don't know her that well, but like, I just feel like they would like anybody who sees Ryan's full worth. Because, like, it's just so evident Trey, like, has a little crush on her, It's so evident. So then we go to the guys and girls nights out. Also, I don't have many notes because it's like, some of these episodes are just not tough to watch, but some of these episodes are like they're really trying to like recreate the magic of the first season. It's just, you can't recreate that with anybody. The guys and girls nights out get together is where they like talk smack about each other to each other's faces. They're like, well, I think if you were like just a little bit less of like a coward, you'd be like a great partner. Like Roxanne said you went a little bit less of a coward. I feel like they do that stuff to each other on the night out. I wonder how drunk they get, because I really feel like some of the stuff they say to each other, you have to be drunk to mention. Like some of the most uncomfy moments were, well, the most uncomfy moment in my opinion was when James brought up how he like said that sex was kind of needed to progress intimacy, but holding hands and hugging wasn't. What? He just, that to me was like, why are you comfortable saying this out loud with the boy? Like, it just is so weird, because it's like you're telling people that you're fine with sexual intimacy, but you can't just do something so simple like hold a hand. You're weird, dude. I think that Ryan needs to get somebody who's better for her, who has like a kind heart, who truly like will show up for her. And I don't even know James, like maybe he really is just going through like a hard time and he has trauma he needs to work on, as he mentioned. But I just feel like, I feel like he honestly just naturally isn't that type of person that Ryan needs. I don't even know. I just feel like it's uncomfortable like seeing them together, because James is like an uncomfortable person. Even the way that he talks to people, he goes like this. He like cocks his head and like stares down. He'll be like, yeah, so you know that like that's the way that I just grew up. I grew up in a single parent household and I blah blah blah. And he won't be like super direct. It's like uncomfortable. It's weird to look at. He's weird. I feel bad for saying that, but he is. He's odd. I don't want to be in a room with him and he'll make me uncomfortable. So James brings up sex to the group, which is like, yuck. Nobody wants to hear about that, dude. Roxanne gets real about Antonio. So Kat and Roxanne like kind of go off to the side and have a sidebar. And Roxanne is like, listen, he lied about being a gentleman. And Kat's like, okay. And then Roxanne's like, yeah, but he'll lie about like other things, just like unnecessary little white lies. And that's a red flag. And she'll be like, I mean, yeah, sometimes and then Roxanne is just like, I just feel like I need you to know that you should be on guard. And she's like, maybe it's just like, oh my God, I've never met somebody who I've seen more like artificial intelligence, but lacking the intelligence. That's mean, okay? It's mean, but it's just how I feel. I can't deny my feelings. It's so uncomfortable. Okay, so Trey and James get honest with each other. I feel so bad for Trey, because he's out here being the only one catching feelings in this whole thing, where the producers were just praying that there were going to be like 3 different Treys being like, oh my God, I really feel things for this girl. Like, it might be her. When it's like, no, she just views you as a nice guy, and she like knows that you find her pretty, and that boosts her ego, and that probably fills the void of what James lacks, maybe. And it just, God, it's uncomfortable, because Trey is out here being like, not gonna lie, I have feelings for Ryan, and James is like, ooh, that's uncomfortable. But anyway, we also find out that Alex is a big weirdo, because what he says, which is that Antonio is like Roxanne's whipping boy, and that this is a bold accusation. That was a bold on his end to be like, yeah, man, she doesn't respect you. Respect is like the bare minimum of what you can do to acknowledge a human being and treat them. Respect was not the correct word to say. Like, even though we're watching this on Netflix, I feel like most of the audience can agree that Roxanne respects Antonio, but does she like him and admire him for certain things? I don't think so. Like, I don't think that she views him as on her level. So like, respects to me was an exaggeration, but it wasn't a lie. I mean, sure, it was a lie because like she doesn't respect him, but I felt like the where Anton or Alex messed up is the fact that he just went way too hard. He should not have said that, because that is hurtful. That is so hurtful to say that to somebody, especially when like she did not say it to him like directly. Maybe he got the vibes that like she doesn't respect him, but even if she got the vibes, or if he got the vibes from her, don't mention that to him. That's just hurtful. Just be like, yo, I don't think that you're valued in this relationship. I think that Roxanne is kind of like looking at a little bit more than what you have. And I honestly think that maybe you guys need to work on that, because I really don't know if you guys are it. Like, I feel like you could have said anything better than she doesn't respect you. Even if that's the vibe you got from her, don't say, like, you guys are not like that. You're literally not. Like, so then Roxanne brings up Alex's okay, I think I said like Roxanne brings up Alex's red flags to Kat, which was interesting that we saw the dichotomy of like, oh, he lies, and then we saw him like not lying but really exaggerating and really getting it wrong, fumbling the bag with that description. So then Alex tells Roxanne after they get home that the time was pleasant, and he doesn't mention that he told Antonio that Antonio was Roxanne's whipping boy. Also, whipping boy, unfortunate words to use. It's so unfortunate because it's like nobody is out here calling anybody a whipping boy unless I'm just like out, unless I don't know something. There's nobody out here unless I'm like out of the loop. I don't think anybody's ever been called a whipping boy. What? Now that I say it as a black woman, that makes me uncomfortable. That makes me uncomfortable. Anyway, it just is weird because, like Roxanne was saying, you're coming with this energy of like, oh, everything's fine, everything's fine. But why did I get a call from Antonio being like, you don't respect me? Did I ever say that? No. But then she kind of, I don't want to credit Alex because he's a weirdo, okay? Like he bends a lot of what he perceives and turns it into like a statement, which is odd. And then I feel like he doesn't say things directly, or it's been shown that he doesn't say things directly, and it felt like he was just telling her like what she wanted to hear, when it's like, no, just be straight up, just have a real conversation. This is weird, bro. You're kind of sociopathic in this moment. I don't know if it's either like he's sociopathic or he's no, or if he's just awkward. That feels sociopathic when you tell somebody one thing, but then when you need to talk about it, you like cannot go in depth and you cannot make a constructive conversation out of it, you know? You just kind of are like, yeah, no, I said that and I'm not denying it, and you need to realize that I am not going to help around the house. Also, that was a weird conversation when they were talking about the fact that he was like, yeah, so you maybe asked me to do some things, but I'm not going to be your whipping boy. I'm not going to be your whipping boy. Even though you want me to clean once a week, I'm not going to do it. So just so you know that. Keep note. Like, that was uncomfortable. That to me was like, oh, no, you're a little sociopathic because you don't bring up these things for constructive conversation. You, like, defy these things when you feel pressure from them and you just deflect. And that's exactly what he do. He just deflects and he doesn't get into anything real. And it's weird to watch somebody on TV do that. It feels a little sociopathic. It feels a little bit psychopathic. It feels a little bit like, what the heck are we watching? I can imagine her reality is so bent when she's looking back at this. My God. So then I like the way that Roxanne goes off because she's like, did I say that? No. But I also understood it's kind of annoying to be like, yo, I didn't say that. I just got the vibe, dude. You didn't have to say you don't respect him. I just got the vibe. Like, but the way that she like addressed it was very much, it was not filled with like too much emotion. It was kind of very much like, so I'm going to point out what I said. I'm going to bring up how it makes me feel in like a very direct way. I'm going to tell you about the way that your reaction is like odd as hell and you're kind of like not really getting to the point. And then I'm just going to like leave it alone. As much as I don't really love Roxanne, I did kind of like her response to this. So then after that, Antonio runs to Roxanne, which is like, that's weird. I found it so weird that Antonio starts running down. Antonio also, when he talked to Kat before he starts running, actually, before I even get to that, saying that Alex's parents are lying was weird, because it's like, Alex's parents don't have a reason to lie. Like, just saying that, like, Antonio or Roxanne doesn't like her boyfriend, like, they don't have a reason to lie about that to Kat. That's weird, dude. I feel like Antonio just, anytime, and I was seeing this in episode 7 as well, anytime he doesn't like what he's been told, he'll just like make up a reason in his head as to why potentially that is not the correct thing, and he'll warp the reality and like flip it in his head and actually maybe believe it. Like when they were having an argument, and Antonio was like, I don't think she believes she's out of my league. She just said that to like not hurt my feel, or to not like actually address what I was saying. Like, no, maybe she does think that she's out of your league, like, and you just don't want to handle it. And you also like have said that you feel like you're kind of dumb. So like you also are kind of feeling that a little bit. So what is that about? So also, why did Roxanne know that Antonio was gonna run to her? And she was like, did you run here? What? This man is written by a young adult fiction author. What's his name? Antonio is they need to write a book, a young adult fiction, Colleen Hoover type book, based on Antonio, about like how he's the regular guy who really doesn't have aspirations to like do anything big with his life, but wants to make something of himself for this woman, for Roxanne, who's like this business girl, this big business bitch, and like about how he wants to build himself up, but he just can't because he's so insecure, and he doesn't want to be viewed as dumb. Like, we could see it. This man is out of a movie, a young adult movie, out of a young adult fiction or young adult romance book. It's it's so funny. Okay, so Trey and Ryan have these like little cute moments in their apartment the last couple days, and I think that they're cute, but like no one thinks they're a pair. And like really that's kind of all I have to say about it. It just makes me sad. Roxanne, I keep talking about Roxanne and Alex because I just need to, dude, because it was so interesting. I was kind of focused on them. Roxanne handles the Alex breakup very maturely and efficiently, and I respected that a lot, because it kind of felt like if that was me, I would just drag it on, be like, listen, you're delusional, and you wanted to hurt his feelings for what reason, and you're like sitting here being fake as hell for what, and you're weird. I would go off on so many tangents, and I'd be like, and you don't even know you're weird. That's what's weird about this, is you don't even know. Like, I don't know. But the fact that she's just like, you know what? That's all you gotta say. That's all I gotta say. So that's all that's gonna be said. And that's just the difference between somebody like her and somebody like me, is that I will get emotional, attach all of my anger and rage to it, and not leave it at where it needs to be left. And I'll drag it on for a week more than it needs to go. So Kat confronts Antonio because she doesn't like the way that Antonio was speaking about Alex on the phone yesterday, being like, this S-bag is S-bag. Why is this S-bag on the telling me that he doesn't respect, that you don't respect me? Okay. So Kat confronts Antonio for the first time. And for the first time, she says the least AI-coded thing ever. And she speaks her mind, which was crazy. It was interesting to see Kat be like, listen, don't lash out. You're not being kind. You're not being fair. You are projecting your insecurities onto us, which she's really not lying. She's really not lying. But at the same time, I feel like she was coming from a place of protecting Alex, but also not really like coming to terms with the fact that Alex is also not like innocent in this. Like he told Antonio that his girlfriend didn't respect him, which was really not great. Really was S-bag behavior, like really was. But at the same time, and not just purely projection, like Alex or Antonio did have some valid points that were kind of like, listen, Alex is weird, dude. And I feel like Kat is trying to defend him, but because I feel like Kat is easily manipulated by Alex. So I don't even know. Also, I'm gonna go over to the changeover because they're just, as much as there were things more to dissect, it's kind of hard to not talk about the same exact thing over and over with these couples, because we all know what's going on in their relationships. Antonio and Roxanne have this power imbalance where Roxanne feels like she's a boss girl and she like doesn't want to get married, but she loves Antonio for some reason. And then we're like, are they gonna get married? Because Roxanne doesn't seem like she really wants to settle down. Like, and then Ryan and James are in this weird position because James did open up for the first time after this whole thing, and maybe that was kind of holding him back a little. Maybe he is a little bit scared to start on the journey of marriage because of his trauma and his past that he needs to work through. Maybe they just need to go to like couples counseling. But I think that he's gonna propose. I think everything's gonna be fine. I think. And then did I say Rhea and Trey? I think that Rhea's going to take a while to get over the fact that Trey has feelings for somebody else, but I think that they needed to see that. But also, they should not be together. But, and Rhea and Trey, sorry, I'm trying to remember all the couples. So there's Roxanne and Antonio, Rhea and Trey, Kat and Alex. Kat and Alex, who the heck cares about Kat and Alex, dude? I don't think anybody cares about Kat and Alex. But yeah, so we're kind of just seeing what the heck is gonna play out. I could go more in depth, but honestly, I want to save the last couple thoughts for episodes 9 and 10, because it's like hard to not repeat myself when this season, it gave what it gave. And it was kind of disappointing. Let's